The latest odds from the prediction market BetOnline suggest that Donald Trump has approximately a 60% chance of winning the 2024 presidential election, with his odds currently standing at minus 158. In contrast, Kamala Harris is positioned as the underdog with odds of plus 133. Interestingly, while Trump is favored to win the election, the markets predict that Harris is more likely to win the national popular vote, with her odds at minus 400 compared to plus 300 for Trump. Prediction markets like BetOnline, along with others such as Polymarket and Kalshi, are often considered to provide more accurate forecasts than traditional polls. This is because these markets don't just capture a snapshot of public opinion at a particular moment. They aggregate the opinions of individuals who are financially invested in the outcomes, reflecting a real-time consensus. This can produce a more grounded and realistic forecast of the election's outcome. With less than 24 hours until the first poll closings, let's fill out an electoral college map based on the latest odds in every competitive race. If you'd like to see a video simply based on the latest poll averages in every race, you can click the link in the top right-hand corner. Here on this map, Trump or Harris have a better than 95% chance of winning in all the states already marked down in the deepest shade of red or blue. It's important to clarify that these colors represent the likelihood of winning, not the margin by which a candidate is expected to win. This distinction means that while states like Texas and Florida are marked as safe for Trump due to their high probabilities, it doesn't necessarily indicate that he will win by a larger margin there compared to states like Ohio or Iowa. The higher odds in Texas and Florida are likely driven by the fact that most of the vote in both states has already been cast early or by mail, and Republicans have substantial advantages among those votes. That leaves just 155 electoral votes still up for grabs across the 15 more competitive states, where both candidates have at least a 5% chance of winning. Donald Trump has a marginal advantage among his safe states, with 192 over Kamala Harris's 191 in the all-important race to 270 electoral votes. Let's go ahead with our likely states now, where the favorite has an 80 to 95% chance of winning. For Trump, this includes Alaska, the last frontier state that has shown a consistent trend toward becoming more competitive over the last 20 years. Trump's 10-point margin in 2020 marked the narrowest Republican victory since 1968. Currently, the betting odds strongly favor Trump at minus 1,600, reflecting an implied probability of about 94% that he will win the state again. This places Alaska just on the cusp of being considered a safe state, but still firmly in the likely category. In the Midwest, Trump is predicted to hold his ground in both Iowa and Ohio, states that have closely mirrored each other's political shifts over the past decade. Both states supported Obama in the 2008 and 2012 elections, but swung sharply to the right in 2016 and 2020, each time giving Trump a victory margin of more than 8 points. In this cycle, Ohio shows strong odds favoring Trump, aligning with Alaska's odds at minus 1,600, suggesting another high probability of a Republican win. Iowa presents a closer contest. Despite generally favorable conditions for Trump, the latest Ann Selzer survey provided a whole lot of uncertainty, with Harris leading by 3 points. Nonetheless, betting markets still suggest Trump is favored to win, assigning him about an 85% chance of securing Iowa at minus 600 odds. This narrower confidence threshold reflects the historical accuracy and influence of the Selzer poll within Iowa, though it still leans toward Trump when considering the broader array of data. With these states factored in, Trump's tally would rise to 218 electoral votes. Now let's turn our attention to the states likely to go to Harris. In Minnesota, the home state of her running mate, Tim Walz, Democrats are poised to secure a victory for the 13th consecutive election cycle. Joe Biden won Minnesota by 7 percentage points in 2020, and current betting markets favor Harris significantly, assigning her a 90% probability of winning at minus 900 odds. Harris is also expected to retain New Mexico and its 5 electoral votes. Biden's victory margin here was 11 points in 2020. Odds and polling data strongly favor Harris this time around, with a 92% chance of winning. Her lead in the polls averages 6.7%, with all recent surveys showing her ahead by at least 5 points. Turning to Virginia, with its 13 electoral votes, Harris appears poised to maintain Democratic control. Although Biden won by double digits in 2020, the race was tighter here in 2024, with Trump leading in polls before Biden exited the race. However, Harris has since widened the Democratic lead to the largest margin seen this cycle, 5.8% according to the latest 6 polls. Betting markets echo this sentiment, giving her a 92% chance to win, mirroring her odds in New Mexico at minus 1,200. Finally, up in New England, both New Hampshire and the statewide race in Maine are also likely to go to Harris. She's got about an 87% chance of holding New Hampshire at minus 700 according to BetOnline, and then a greater 92% chance in Maine, again at minus 1,200. These two tend to be the only semi-competitive races in this otherwise deep blue region, outside Pennsylvania, of course, but New Hampshire still went for Biden by 7 points in 2020, and Maine by 9. This brings the vice president's electoral vote total to 225, giving her a lead of just 7 electoral votes over Trump. BetOnline does not have odds available for the 2nd congressional districts in Nebraska and Maine, but they're not all that competitive. Maine's 2nd district, which is one of the oldest, whitest, and most rural districts in the country, supported Trump in both the 2016 and 2020 elections, and is expected to do so again. On the other hand, Nebraska's 2nd district, which encompasses the urban area around Omaha and is more racially diverse with a higher proportion of college graduates, tells a different story. Biden won this district by 6.5 points in 2020, and it is anticipated to shift even further towards the Democrats in 2024. That leaves the 7 core battleground states that will decide the election. All 7 were decided by less than 3 percentage points in the 2020 cycle, and apart from Nevada, which voted blue twice, and North Carolina, which backed Trump in both elections, the other 5 all flipped from Trump in 2016 to Biden in 2020. Predictably, the odds suggest they're all very close, with neither candidate having a better than 80% chance to carry any one of them. For what it's worth, since these odds are likely to move around a bit after this video is uploaded, I'll leave a link down below for you to check them out. Let's go from least to most competitive, so starting with Arizona, the only battleground where Trump has consistently led in the polls since Biden stepped aside. He currently holds a 2.7-point lead based on an average of 10 surveys. Harris hasn't led in a single survey since the week of October 21st and has trailed in the overall average since mid-August. This trend is also clearly reflected in the odds, with Trump's probability of winning currently sitting at about 78%, derived from the latest odds showing Republicans favored at minus 350. Remember back in 2020, Arizona flipped blue for just the 2nd time in 70 years, driven by the rapid growth and diversification in Maricopa County, home to the Phoenix metro area. However, Biden's win was razor thin with a margin of only 0.3%. Arizona's underlying Republican lean remains strong, as reflected in Trump's current edge in both polling and prediction markets. It leans Republican here on our map. Next, in Georgia, the closest state in the 2020 election decided by a razor-thin 0.2% margin. Similar to Arizona, its leftward shift has been driven by the rapid growth and diversification of its largest population center, Atlanta, where record turnout among black voters barely tilted the state to Biden. Now Trump holds about a 71% chance of winning on BetOnline at minus 250. Trump's polling edge here also continues to look strong, leading by 1.7% on average over the 12 polls, with 4 straight showing Trump or Harris leading by a point. The electoral environment may be strongest for Trump here in Georgia as black turnout lags. It will lean in his favor as well here. That leaves 5 states where neither candidate has a better than 70% chance of winning. Trump now leads at 246 over Harris's 226. From here, each candidate's most efficient path is as follows. Harris could hit exactly 270 simply by sweeping the Rust Belt trio, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. For Trump, his most efficient path is to hold North Carolina and then flip any one of the Rust Belt states. Again, let's go in order of least to most competitive here, so starting in North Carolina. The latest odds place Trump as the favorite here at minus 205, roughly translating to about a 67% chance of winning, or 2 in 3 odds. North Carolina last elected a Democrat to federal office in 2008 when Obama won the state, but he couldn't hold it in 2012, and each of the last 8 presidential and Senate races have gone to the Republican by a narrow margin. North Carolina enters the tilt Republican category on our map, putting the former president just 8 votes shy of the magic number. Before we continue, a quick reminder, only about 20% of you are subscribed, so please take a moment to hit the free subscribe button below for more content like this leading up to the first poll closings. According to Bet Online, the next most likely states to vote for either candidate are Wisconsin and Michigan, both blue wall states that favor Kamala Harris and the Democrats by tilt margins. First in Michigan, her odds sit at minus 200, translating to about a 66% chance of victory, or again, roughly a 2 in 3 chance. Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, she's favored with narrower minus 145 odds, or about a 60% chance. It's hard to imagine a scenario where Harris hits 270 electoral votes without at least carrying Michigan in her column. Together with Wisconsin, they lift the VP up to 251 electoral votes now, meaning the race to 270 electoral votes comes down to the races in Pennsylvania and Nevada. One holds substantially more weight than the other. Worth 19 electoral votes, the Keystone State is far and away the most likely tipping point state, and the campaigns have treated it as such all cycle long. It doesn't matter what happens in Nevada in this scenario, whoever carries Pennsylvania secures 270. Based on the latest prediction market odds, Trump is the favorite in Pennsylvania right now at minus 140, translating to about a 58% chance of winning. This aligns with the polling average via Real Clear polling that has the former president leading by 0.3 of a percentage point on average over the last 17 surveys, 7 of which show him leading, 3 have Harris in front, and another 7 show the two candidates exactly tied. It's truly a remarkably close election here in Pennsylvania, which of course renders the entire race to 270 electoral votes extremely close. With Pennsylvania in the tilt Republican category, Trump now has 281 electoral votes, continuing to lead Harris's 251. Only Nevada remains, where the markets have Trump favored at similar minus 135 odds. That would add a bit of padding to Trump's electoral victory here at 287. For those of you who watched my video on the latest poll averages in every competitive battleground, you'll notice that the markets have produced the exact same map. As always, feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of this map and suggest any other videos or topics you'd like to see in the future. That does it for today's video though. Shout out to my channel members in the description below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel down below, and please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. You can check out more content from my channel here, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. EP out.